Welcome to While We Were Distracted, the podcast where we explore topics that often get overshadowed in the rush of daily life. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. It really helps.
Okay, let's dive in. We're looking today at a financial reality check, really. One that affects, nearly 71 million Americans?
That's right. We're talking about the cost of living adjustment for 2026, the COLA.
Which was finally announced by the Social Security Administration, the SSA, after that 9-day delay from the government shutdown.
Yeah, that pushed things back a bit, but the number is out. And this single figure, it really sets the baseline for financial stability for millions.
So what is that number?
The 2026 COL is finalized at 2.8%.
2.8, okay.
Now, that's a little bit higher, a few ticks higher than last year's 2.5%. But our goal today, our mission, is really to get past just the percentage figure.
Right, to understand what it actually means for people's budgets,
Well,
good, the bad, the limitations.
Exactly. And the 2.8%, well, it's the anchor. But here's what's crucial and important for this deep dive. It's not just Social Security folks.
Ah, right. Because of recent legislation, this rate, it automatically applies to military retirees and veterans benefits too.
Precisely. So this one adjustment, which goes into effect January 2026, sets the increase rate across these really key groups. Huge number of people.
Wow. Yeah, that's a wide reach.
And for anyone on a fixed income, the COLA is, well, it's vital. It's supposed to be the shield, the mechanism stopping inflation from just eating away at your buying power.
Okay, so let's unpack the 2.8%. A percentage is one thing, but what does it look like in actual dollars, month to month?
Yeah, let's make it tangible. For a typical Social Security recipient, the SSA estimates the average monthly benefit goes up by about $56.
$56.
Which brings the new average monthly benefit to around $2,071. And, we should probably keep that $56 number in mind.
Why is that?
Because we're going to see later how quickly that extra money might just disappear.
Ah, okay. Point taken. Now, what about the military community? Our sources gave some specific examples there, too.
I did. So say you have a military retiree getting $2,500 a month in retired pay right now.
Okay.
That 2.8% COLA adds about $70 a month to their check starting in 2026.
$70. And for veterans?
Let's say a veteran receives $1,500 a month in benefits, could be disability, dependency payments, things like that. The increase for them would be around $42.
$42. And that direct life for veterans, that's pretty new, isn't it? Relatively speaking.
It is, yeah. Congress passed legislation back in 2024 that basically formalized it. Tied veterans benefit increases directly to the Social Security rate.
So it simplifies things, ensures they move together.
That seems to be the intent. Sort of simplify and solidify that inflation protection for veterans across the board.
And it covers quite a few VA programs, not just the main disability checks.
Correct. The 2.8% applies to disability compensation, naturally, but also things like clothing allowances and dependency and indemnity benefits, DIC.
Got it. Any logistical points folks should know, like when they see this change?
Just one quick thing. If you receive Supplemental Security Income, SSI, you'll actually see that first COLA increase a bit early. It shows up in the December 31st, 2025 check.
Ah, end of the year.
Right. Everyone else, Social Security beneficiaries, military retirees, other veterans, they'll start getting official notifications by mail about their new benefit amount, starting in early December.
Okay, so the idea behind CALA, the original spirit, is sound, protect against inflation, but the 2.8% number itself is causing some controversy. To get why, we need to look under the hood, right, how it's calculated.
Exactly. This is where the mechanism, the calculation becomes really important. The SSA doesn't just use the general inflation number you hear on the news, the CPI.
No. What do they use?
They use a specific metric called the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. It's usually just called the CPIW.
CPIW. Okay, define that for us, because you said that's where the controversy lies. How is it different from the main CPI number?
The key difference is who it tracks. CPIW looks at the average change in prices paid for a set basket of goods and services, but specifically by younger working-class households. Think urban wage earners, clerical workers.
Not retirees.
Generally, no. It's like is measuring the shopping cart of someone commuting, buying gas, maybe paying rent, or a mortgage relevant to a younger person's life stage. Not necessarily someone facing, say, high prescription costs or long-term care needs.
And it's not based on a full year of data either.
That's right. That's another crucial point. The COLA Act calculation is based only on inflation data from a 3-month window, July, August, and September.
Just those 3 months.
Just those three. And for context, the broader inflation measure, the general CPI, was running at an annual rate of 3% in September. So the 2.8% COA, derived from CPIW over that specific window is already a bit lower than that wider inflation picture.
And that 2.8%, it looks pretty modest when you put it next to the last few years. The variability there is kind of wild.
Absolutely. The recent history tells a really dramatic story about the economy's swings since the pandemic hit. Let's just run through them quickly to see this 2.8% in context.
Okay.
For 2025, it was 2.5%. That was the lowest since before COVID.
Right.
But before that, 2023 was 3.2%.
Okay.
Then you had the real shock years. 2022 saw an 8.7% TOLA.
8.7.
And 2021 was 5.9%. Before that, back in 2020, it was just 1.6%.
That is a roller coaster. 1.6, then 5.9, 8.7, down to 3.2, 2.5, now 2.8. What does that huge swing tell us?
Well, it tells us the CPIW did reflect those extreme economic shifts, for better or worse. That post-COVID surge in 21 and 22, that was intense supply chain chaos, huge pent-up demand, stimulus money effects, all driving inflation sky high.
And the CPIW picked that up.
It did. Now, things have cooled. Supply chains are better, interest rates are high, so inflation has come down.
Yeah.
And the CPIW reflects that too, giving us this, well, comparatively tame 2.8%.
Which means people just went through 2 years where their budgets got hammered by record inflation. And now, maybe as they're hoping for some real relief, the adjustment is much smaller.
Exactly. And this leads right into the debate.
Mm-hmm.
Is 2.8% just reflecting today's cooler economy accurately, or is it fundamentally not enough for the people who rely on it most?
Yeah. Is that CPIW metric really capturing the reality for seniors and others on fixed incomes?
That's the core question. You look at polling, like from AARP, and it found many seniors feel this adjustment is falling short, significantly short. They believe they need something closer to a 5% annual COLA just to keep pace with their daily expenses.
5%. When the official rate is 2.8%, that's a huge gap.
It's a massive difference in perception versus the official calculation. And the main critique, the real pushback, focuses squarely on that calculation engine, the CPIW.
Because it tracks younger workers, not retirees' spending habits.
Precisely. Advocates argue it's flawed for seniors because, like we said, it tracks prices paid by younger urban workers. Retirees spend differently, dramatically differently sometimes.
How so?
They tend to spend a much bigger slice of their income on specific things that are often inflating faster than the overall CPIW average. Think healthcare. Think housing.
And there's data backing that up, especially on healthcare.
Oh, definitely. Analysis from KFF, the Kaiser Family Foundation, they're a major nonprofit health policy group. It shows seniors on Medicare spend, on average, 13.6% of their income just on health-related costs.
13.6%.
And here's the kicker. That's more than double the proportion that younger people spend on health. So when a major mandatory expense like healthcare is rising fast and takes up so much of your budget, well, an index that doesn't fully weigh that category is going to feel inadequate.
And this is hitting at a really tough time, economically speaking, for older Americans. Poverty rates are actually going up for seniors.
Yeah, it's a grim trend highlighted by census data. Poverty among seniors climbed to 15% last year. That's up from 14% the year before.
14%.
And that's the highest poverty rate among any age group. So when you have 15% of seniors already living in poverty, a modest increase like $56, which, as we hinted, might get eaten up by other rising costs. It's not just a policy debate. It's a stability crisis for many.
Okay, so this brings us to what you call the Great Disappearance Act for 2026. The biggest threat that might just swallow that 56 average increase whole, Medicare costs.
Right. This is the major concern being flagged by groups like the National Council on Aging. They're basically warning that the mandatory hike in Medicare Part B premiums could potentially consume the entire 2.8% COLA increase before seniors even feel the benefit.
Wow. Okay, let's break down that math. Average COLA boost is $56. What are the projections for Medicare Part B premiums in 2026?
So Medicare hasn't finalized the official 2026 rates yet. That usually happens later. But the Medicare Trustees report, released earlier this year, gave projections.
And what did they project?
They forecast that the standard monthly premium for Part B that covers doctor visits, outpatient care, is likely to rise pretty significantly. They projected it going up to about $206.50.
Wait, $206.50. The current premium is around $185, isn't it? That's a big jump.
It is. If that projection holds, it represents about a 12% increase from the current rate.
12%.
The projected 12% boost. And on top of that, the Part B deductible is also projected to rise by roughly 12% next year.
So you've got a mandatory 12% cost increase fighting against a 2.8% income increase.
That's the conflict right there. It's a recipe for people actually falling behind, financially speaking.
And this hits instantly because the Medicare premium just comes straight out the Social Security check, right, before you even get the money.
Exactly. So let's do the math again. You get an extra $56 a month from the COLA. But if your Part B premium goes up by, say, $21.50, that's roughly the dollar amount of a 12% rise from the current premium.
Okay.
Well, then nearly 40% of your COLA raise is just gone instantly, wiped out before it hits your bank account.
And for some people, depending on income or healthcare use, it could be even more.
Absolutely. Higher income earners pay higher Part B premiums already. And that $21.50 is just based on the standard premium increase projection. Many folks could easily see their actual take-home check barely budge, or in some cases, even shrink slightly.
It really is the ultimate fixed income squeeze. And this projected spike in Medicare costs, it's not just theoretical. Current inflation data already shows medical costs are climbing faster than general inflation, right?
That's right. You can see why those Part B premiums are under pressure. While the general CPI was hovering around 3%, the sources we looked at show costs specific to medical care and elder care are blowing past that.
Like what?
Well, for instance, the cost of caring for the elderly at home jumped 11.6% year over year recently.
11.6%.
And medical services overall rose 3.9%. So these critical costs, the ones seniors disproportionately face, are already outpacing that general inflation number and definitely outpacing the 2.8% COLA based on the CPIW. It just highlights the mismatch.
So we started this whole deep dive looking at just one number, 2.8%. And what we've really uncovered is the stark duality, isn't it?
It really is. On one hand, you have the cost of living adjustment itself. It is critically helpful. It provides essential, legally mandated inflation protection for, again, nearly 71 million people, Social Security, military retirees, veterans. It stops benefits from just stagnating completely.
That's the pro side, the necessary function it serves.
Right. But then on the other hand, when you pit that 2.8% increase generated by a metric, the CPIW, designed for a younger, working demographic against these soaring costs in specific sectors. Well, healthcare is the most glaring example.
Yeah.
It just isn't keeping up for many.
It feels insufficient.
Deeply insufficient for millions. The data points to medical costs, housing, utilities, all rising faster for seniors than the COEL allows for. And that contributes directly to that rising poverty rate among older Americans we talked about.
It's definitely a complex calculation affecting daily financial security for so many. And it really makes you think critically about how we even measure the cost of living for different groups, doesn't it? To make sure benefits actually reflect true costs.
Absolutely. And remember, the choice to use CPIW, that's fundamentally a policy decision. There are alternatives. There's another index sometimes discussed, the CPIE, which is specifically based on expenditures of the elderly.
CPIE.
It tracks those costs more directly.
Which leads us perfectly into our final thought, something for you, the listener, to chew on. Since the CFLA right now is calculated based on prices paid by workers, the CPIW, which, arguably keeps the official increase lower and perhaps more predictable for government budgets.
Right.
What would the real-world consequences be, both practical and financial? For the government's books, yes, but more importantly, for the financial health of millions of beneficiaries. What if we shifted the calculation? What if we moved to something like that CPIE, an index that actually weighs more heavily those costs specific to the elderly, like rapidly inflating healthcare and prescription drug prices?
Yeah, what would that look like? Something to ponder as you think about what a 2.8% raise truly means in 2026.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for the next episode on While We Were Distracted.